Ethan had always been the strong one. A proud 70-year-old Navy veteran, he prided himself on never asking for help, even after retirement. But one crisp autumn morning, everything changed. He tried stepping off the porch like he always did and collapsed to the ground. His legs had simply given out. No warning, no pain, just sudden weakness. When he got to the hospital, the doctor looked him straight in the eye and said something that shook him to his core. "Mr. Walker, it's not your age, it's your legs, and they're starving. You see, your legs are the first part of the body to lose strength as you age. Not your hands, not your back, your legs. That's why walking feels harder, climbing stairs burns more, and standing leaves you exhausted. What nobody tells you is that this weakness isn't just aging, it's malnutrition at a cellular level. The largest muscles in your body are in your legs, and they require constant nourishment to remain strong. Without the right fuel, they begin to atrophy, silently, invisibly, until one day you fall. But here's the hope. You can stop it, maybe even reverse it. There are 10 powerful foods that can radically change the fate of your legs. These aren't exotic superfoods or overpriced supplements. They're everyday items that your muscles are begging for. Lean meat, rich in protein and iron, rebuilds muscle and boosts oxygen flow. Salmon packed with omega-3s reduces inflammation and improves circulation. Eggs, a complete protein, fuel regeneration and coordination. Nuts, like almonds and walnuts, offer magnesium to prevent cramps. Broccoli, full of calcium and vitamin K, fortifies your bones. Bananas, loaded with potassium, stop muscle spasms in their tracks. Sweet potatoes, slow-burning carbs, give lasting muscle energy. Beans and lentils, iron-rich and protein-packed, fight fatigue. Cottage cheese with casein protein helps muscle recover overnight. Natural yogurt, rich in probiotics and vitamin D, improves nutrient absorption and bone strength. These 10 foods aren't just healthy, they're the line between independence and. Are you ready to take that power back? Because in the next few minutes, we'll reveal how these foods can literally keep you on your feet. Worried about weak legs? Type 1 to see 10 powerful foods that keep them strong. The fall left Ethan more than bruised. It left him shaken. He sat alone in his living room, Cane by his side, replaying the moment his legs simply gave up. "How did I let it get this far?" he whispered to himself. His daughter, Layla, who had flown in from out of state, brought with her more than just support. She brought answers. A retired nutritionist, she sat him down with firm eyes and a heart full of love. "Dad," she said, "your muscles didn't fail overnight. You've been undernourished for years." Together, they examined his daily meals. Toast with jam, coffee, maybe a sandwich for lunch, and some frozen dinner at night. Almost no protein, barely any healthy fats, and zero real nourishment for his legs. That's when Layla introduced the list. The 10 leg-saving foods, she called them. Ethan was skeptical. Could food really make a difference? But desperation has a way of opening the mind. They started small. Breakfast changed from toast to eggs and avocado. Lunch included grilled chicken with broccoli. Snacks became Greek yogurt and a banana instead of cookies. And every dinner had some form of lean meat or salmon, paired with lentils or sweet potatoes. Within 2 weeks, something shifted. Ethan stood up without groaning. His legs didn't tremble when he walked across the kitchen. The stairs, once dreaded, became manageable. He could feel his body rebuilding. Most surprisingly, it wasn't just his legs. His confidence was returning. He stood straighter, spoke louder, smiled more. "I thought I was just getting old," he told Layla one morning. "Turns out I was just starving my legs." And he wasn't alone. At church, at the senior center, even his barber, people shared the same struggles. Ethan began telling them his story, handing out his handwritten list of those 10 foods like it was a secret weapon. This wasn't just a change in diet. It was a turning point in life, a moment where weakness met knowledge and defeat turned into determination. Ethan was no longer falling. He was rising. Ethan was feeling better than he had in years. He walked the neighborhood every morning, stood longer during Sunday service, and even joined a local Tai Chi class. Friends were amazed. "You're glowing, Ethan," they'd say. His secret? Those 10 miracle foods? His legs felt alive again. But then came that stormy night. Layla had left town for a work trip, and Ethan was home alone. Around 2 a.m., a loud crash came from the backyard. An old tree branch had smashed into his tool shed. Half asleep but alert, Ethan grabbed his flashlight and stepped outside, determined to check the damage. But the rain made the porch steps slick. His foot slipped. His cane flew. His body twisted midair and hit the ground. Hard. Silence. A sharp pain shot through his left thigh. He tried to move but couldn't. His heart pounded with panic. "Not again! Not like this!" Neighbors found him minutes later, soaked and shivering. He was rushed to the ER. The x-rays came back. No fractures, just a deep muscle strain. The doctor raised an eyebrow. "Frankly, at your age, this could have been a broken hip, but your bone density and muscle mass saved you. What have you been doing differently?" Ethan smiled weakly. "Eating like my life depends on it." It hit him then. This wasn't just about feeling stronger. It was about survival. His new diet had spared him from something far worse. Without that shift, he could have been facing surgery, a nursing home stay, or worse. As he rested at home with ice packs and protein shakes, he realized that setbacks weren't failure. They were reminders. This was a lifelong journey. Muscle takes time to build, but only days to weaken if you stop. That night didn't break him. It made him more committed. Because strength isn't the absence of falling, it's the ability to rise again, wiser and better prepared. Lying in bed with a heating pad on his leg, Ethan had plenty of time to think. At first he was angry at his age, angry at the rain, angry at how quickly life could change. But as the pain eased and the days passed, something deeper settled in. Clarity. That fall wasn't just a warning, it was a wake-up call. He realized something profound. All these years he had seen his body as a machine that simply wore out. A part breaks, you patch it, replace it, live with the decline. But now he saw it differently. His body wasn't just aging, it was responding. It was talking to him. And for decades he hadn't been listening. He remembered the years he skipped meals, the processed foods he microwaved for convenience, the sugary drinks he'd sip mindlessly. He wasn't feeding his body, he was neglecting it. Now, every bite was a form of self-respect. Every egg, banana, sweet potato, and spoon of cottage cheese was like saying, "I'm here for you." Ethan no longer ate just to stay full. He ate to stay strong. He stopped counting calories and started counting nutrients. He tracked how much protein he got each day. He drank more water. He even planted a small garden with kale and peppers. It wasn't about avoiding another fall. It was about rising with purpose. He began sharing his story at community centers, talking to other seniors about leg strength, nutrition, and the foods that saved him. He printed flyers with the top 10 foods for strong legs, and handed them out like business cards. To his surprise, people listened. They asked questions. They wanted what he had, not youth, but vitality. Ethan's entire mindset had changed. He no longer feared growing old. He embraced growing stronger. And that, he realized, was the real transformation. Not just stronger legs, but a stronger will to live well. Because aging isn't the end of the road. Sometimes it's where the real journey begins. Spring brought more than sunshine that year. It brought a new chapter in Ethan's life. With every passing week, his legs grew sturdier. He no longer needed the cane. His balance returned. But something even bigger was blooming: purpose. One Saturday, he attended a senior wellness fair in his town. While browsing booths about blood pressure and walking aids, he overheard a woman in her 60s saying, "I'm scared to climb stairs. My legs just don't feel like they used to." Ethan turned, smiled, and gently replied, "Mine didn't either, until I started eating for strength." That simple comment sparked a 30-minute conversation. Before he left, 3 more people had joined in. They asked for food tips, meal plans, even recipes. One of them said, "You should speak at the community center. People need to hear this." Ethan hesitated. Public speaking had never been his thing. But later that night, he looked at his notebook filled with food logs and handwritten leg strength tips and realized this was bigger than him. The following month, he stood at a podium, looking at 40 curious faces in folding chairs. With a confident breath, he began, "My name's Ethan Walker. A year ago, I fell on my front porch. Today, I'm here to help you stand taller." His talk was raw, personal, and filled with practical wisdom. How to build muscle through salmon, eggs, sweet potatoes, and yogurt, and how food had given him back not just strength, but freedom. After that day, speaking engagements followed, libraries, senior homes, even a local podcast. Layla helped him turn his notes into a small ebook. Feed Your Legs, Free Your Life. Ethan had stumbled into something incredible, a new opportunity born from struggle. He wasn't just rebuilding his legs, he was helping others rebuild their lives. His days were full now, not with regret, but with impact. He had found something that mattered, and all it took was one fall and a second chance. 6 months after that stormy night, Ethan no longer recognized the man he used to be. He still lived in the same modest brick house, still wore his old baseball cap with the faded veteran patch, and still made coffee at 6 a.m. sharp. But something inside him had shifted, something powerful. His muscles were stronger now. He could climb stairs without hesitation, walk a mile without resting, even lift his grandkids into his arms with ease. But the real transformation wasn't just physical. Ethan had become a man on a mission. He wasn't just getting better, he was becoming better. Every meal he cooked had intention. Every step he took carried meaning. The foods that once seemed ordinary, like nuts, lentils, broccoli, and bananas, were now his allies. His daily plate was a declaration: I choose strength. More than that, he had started listening to his body. He could sense when it needed hydration, when it craved protein, when it was time to rest. He wasn't fighting aging anymore. He was working with it, and it changed the way he saw the world. He noticed how many people gave up on their bodies too soon, how many believed weakness was just part of growing old. At every church meeting, every family gathering, he found ways to encourage others, not with judgment, but with hope. "I used to think I was breaking down," he told his friend Thomas one afternoon. "Turns out I was just uninformed and hungry for the right stuff." Now people called him the leg guy. He laughed every time he heard it, but deep down, he was proud. He wasn't a doctor. He wasn't a trainer, but he was proof, living proof, that small changes could rewrite a life. His journey had started with weakness, but through resilience, learning, and commitment, Ethan had grown into something far more important than just healthy. He had become empowered. Ethan stood at the edge of the park trail, eyes fixed on the hill ahead. 6 months ago, that hill had seemed impossible, steep, intimidating, unforgiving. Now it was his favorite part of the walk, not because it was easy, but because he could do it. As he climbed slowly but steadily, he thought about how far he'd come. From falling on a rainy night to rising with strength and purpose, Ethan had rewritten the narrative of his aging. And it all started with food, not pills, not surgery. Food, 10 simple, powerful foods: lean meat, salmon, eggs, broccoli, nuts, bananas, sweet potatoes, beans, cottage cheese, and yogurt, had done more than nourish his muscles. They have restored his spirit. He no longer viewed himself as old. He saw himself as capable. He realized that aging isn't about decline. It's about adaptation. It's about making smarter choices and showing your body the respect it deserves. At the top of the hill, he paused, took a deep breath, and smiled. He wasn't chasing youth. He was embracing longevity. To anyone watching, Ethan was just another senior out for a walk. But inside, he knew the truth. He had taken control. He had taken responsibility. And that felt like freedom. So what about you? Maybe your legs feel tired. Maybe stairs are harder than they used to be. Maybe you're thinking, it's just part of getting older. But what if it's not? What if strength is still possible? What if your comeback starts today with the next meal you choose? Because here's the truth, you don't need to be young to be strong. You just need to be willing. Like Ethan, you have a choice: fade quietly or rise intentionally. Choose foods that fuel you. Choose movement. Choose vitality. Choose you. The greatest lesson Ethan learned wasn't about food or fitness. It was about ownership. For most of his life, he believed aging meant surrendering to weakness, that frailty was just another normal part of growing older. But he was wrong. What Ethan discovered is that the body responds to how you treat it, even after 70. Muscles don't vanish overnight. They fade from neglect. Strength doesn't disappear with age. It disappears with inaction. And the most powerful tool to fight that? Not medicine, but mindful nutrition. His story reminds us that no matter how old we are, we still have control. We can still choose what goes on our plate. We can still choose movement over stillness. We can still choose to stand when it would be easier to sit. Aging isn't the enemy. Complacency is. If you're reading this thinking, I'm too old to change, stop. That mindset is what's keeping your legs weak, not your age. Start small. Add eggs or yogurt to your breakfast instead of sugary cereals. Replace soda with water and lemon. Trade chips for a handful of nuts. Try baking salmon once a week. Roast sweet potatoes as a side instead of fries. It's not about being perfect. It's about progress, bit by bit, bite by bite. Keep a list of Ethan's top 10 foods for strong legs on your fridge. Make it your checklist for strength. Every smart food choice is a message to your body. I haven't given up on you. I'm still fighting. And your body will fight back for you. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, please like and share with your friends. Your support keeps these stories alive. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a new episode. And if today's story touched your heart, leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Take care, stay well, and see you in the next story.